Hey, want to play Panamax, but don't have anybody to play with? Or maybe you just want to practice at getting better at this very challenging game. Well, in either case, I suggest you try the PanaBot Solitaire variant by Dale Bunicor. This is a variant I discovered on BGG, and I played it several times. I quite like it. Thought I would do a video to show people how it's played and actually play through the first round. Now, while I played it several times and enjoyed it, I did find that there were some ways that I prefer to make the game a little bit more challenging for myself. So with Dale's permission, I collected his rules, tidied them up a little bit, and then I added my optional rules and put them in the file section. So I will be explaining my particular optional rules during the course of the video. And of course, you know, one of the joys of being a solitaire gamer is that you can play it however the hell you want. So everything you need, though, is in that document, is my point. Okay, the two-player rules have a couple of significant changes of note. You get 12 action dice, as in like the 3-player game, but only 2 of them are executive actions, the other 10 are regular dice. And then you're going to remove a couple of boats. You're going to remove the San Juan Prospector that normally starts in China, what we call the doubler. And then you're also going to remove the Spiel of the Seas cruise ship that I believe starts in Europe. Then you take the remaining 2 cruise ships and put 1 in each of the waiting zones so that they can be deployed to either of the loading zones as needed. The PanaBot player in this game is going to be yellow. I'll be playing red. And the base rules have you, the player, going first. But I like to have the PanaBot player go first. I think it's a little more challenging. He might beat me to some opportunities. He might get on the rail table first. And also it dovetails very well with one of my optional rules that I'll explain in a little bit. He starts with all of his boats out and ready for immediate deployment. No stocks and no money. Stocks and money that he collects during the game will go into the cup, and those will be his final score. Also, cash collected during the course of the game will be used for tie-breaking purposes for managing director award. So, you know, your company will have to compare their funds to all the money he's collected from military boat movement and cargo payouts. So you're probably not going to win that tie, so you'll want to stay ahead of him on that track. You'll notice that I have his dice just kind of hanging out over here. That's because the PanaBot does not pay cargo fees at the end of the round. He doesn't have to worry about that like we do. So his dice can pretty much go anywhere. As for me, the player, I start with the usual, you know, the $18 for the company, $6 for me, the player, my 2 boat. I also start with the Offshore Accounts Financial Advisor endgame card. And per the base rules, you will shuffle these and deal yourself 3 more and take 1 of those 3, so you start the game with 2. And then any more that you earn during the game through the usual process, you can score those at the end of the game as well. I like to make things a little more difficult for myself, so I only start with the offshore accounts, and I can only score 1 more per the usual endgame rules. The basis of the game is a simple die roll. You roll a die for the PanaBot, and he's going to take the associated action, this being a 1, that being a 6. And then there are a set of priorities for moving or for loading. I will go through these during the actual playthrough. So the last thing we have to do to finish setup is to reveal 2 cards, 2 starting contract cards. Since I'm the second player, I get to choose 1, and then he'll get the other one. I'm going to go ahead and fix the camera now at this point and be hands-free, and we'll play through the first round together, and I'll show you in detail how the game is actually played. Okay, this probably goes without saying, but I'm assuming that you are familiar with the base Panamax rules, and you're watching this video to determine if you want to play this solitaire. So I'm not going to explain the basic rules of the game. Okay, so I've decided to go ahead and just take the China contract, which will give him the West. So for me, per the usual process, I'm going to load my dice. I think I'm going to go ahead and pay $5 to get my 1 boat out and put that in the China zone with 2 die on it, and then I'm going to put my 2 boat out there and put the 4 on it, which will give me a China flag, and that doesn't give me any benefit at the time. Okay, so he's going to load a West contract, so this is a good opportunity to show you the loading rules. So in general, there are a series of priorities, both for loading and for moving. So whenever he needs to do something, you just go in order down these list of priorities, and after a couple times through, you know, it becomes second nature to you. So you always start with the topmost die. And you go through these priorities. First of all, can it go to the rail table? Well, no, obviously it cannot. There's no symbol, and it's the first turn of the game. Secondly, can it go to a cruise ship? No, cannot. So then, in the zone, in this case West, is there one of his boats waiting for more dice? No. Next priority, is there one of my boats in that zone waiting for more dice? No. Okay, well in that case, take his lowest available ship, which will be the 2, and load the die on there. So the 5 is going to go on there. Then we're going to go through that same process, but this time we're going to, you can't go to the rail, but the second priority is, can it go to a cruise ship? Why, yes it can. So it's going to go onto the cruise ship in the zone. And that takes care of this startup contract. So he gets a West flag. Looking over there. Okay. So this is probably a good time to stop and talk about flags. If during the game he ever collects 3 flags of the same type or 1 of each of the 4 different types, that's considered a set, and that's when he purchases stock. He then gets 1 share of stock into his cup, and he improves his stock price by 1. That happens both for collecting sets of flags and also for taking executive actions, which I'll show you in a little bit. Okay, so let's have him take his first action. We just roll a die. 4. That means he's, that's the contract I wanted. I took the China contract so that I could take that one next, because that's a pretty tasty contract. All right, well, that's the way it goes. So 3 dice. And he gets all 3 load actions, so we know that the 1 is going to go to the rail table. Whoops. So let's put that over there. All right, so now let's go through our priority list, starting with the 5. It can't go to the rail table. It can't go to a cruise ship, but it certainly can go to a boat that's waiting, my boat. So that's going to go there. All right, and then the 2, can the 2 go, can't go to the rail, it can't go to a cruise ship because that cruise ship has already been appropriated in the West. So then there are no more boats where it could go, so we have to pull out his next available boat, which is going to be his 2 boat, and we're going to put that in the zone, and we're going to put the 2 die on it. And then of course the 1 goes to the rails, which we already did. All right, so for completing that, for his trouble, he gets himself a China flag, which I'll put over there. Okay. That pulls this over and pulls this over and definitely throws a monkey wrench into my plans. Curse you. I wanted to do that. So I really want to get to that rail table for reasons that you will see when we go through that at the end of the turn. I might have to take that to get myself there. Boy, that is, and there are no more rail contracts coming. Yuck. Yuck. East. Okay, yeah, I don't think I want to pay to put my other boat out, because then my company will be really hurting for cash. Yeah, yuck. So I'm going to go ahead and take the 5 die for the East contract. I'm going to flip it over and put a 3 die on the rail table there. So, okay, and no flag for me. And this slides over. Not ideal, but that is a pretty common occurrence in this game to do things that are not ideal. Okay, so let's take his second action and roll, and 6. He's going to load another contract. He likes this one here. And wow, don't you know this? You know, this is really good for him. So he's going to get a 3 die and a 2. Now let me stop here and mention that one of the optional rules is if he takes a contract and he can't load at least 1 die because there are no boats anywhere, all of his boats are out, then he will flip it to the backside and load it somewhere that will best serve his interest. It'll be up to you to adjudicate that yourself. At the same time, if he were to roll to take a contract, but he doesn't have enough dice to do that, then he will, instead of doing that, slide the die over to the highest possible movement action. Okay, this die of his is over here. All right, but in this case, we go through our priority list. Can't go to the rail table, can't go to a cruise ship, can't go to a boat, so we're going to have to pull his 7 boat out, and that goes there. And then the 2 actually is going to go onto the cruise boat. So he got himself loaded there. And he gets his second west flag, which doesn't make me too happy because he's on his way to getting a share of stock, and we don't want that. Okay. All right. That leaves me with the choice of, do I load this guy? I could take that contract and flip it and load it to the rail. Because, or I could load it to his boat if I wanted to do that, but I think it's going to sit there. This is one of the great decisions of the game. I have to consider how many dice are coming back to me. If I put this to the rail, then I get two dice coming back, and I've got 4 here for next turn already. So that's 6 dice I have to deal with next turn. At the same time, I'm not really sure where this guy's going to... What am I owing right now? I'm owing $4, $8, $9. I've got to buy a share of stock and get it into my company. Okay, I don't want to take too long here, so okay, what the heck? You know what? Actually, can't go there. That's the west. This is the east. Duh. Sorry about that. So yeah, okay. I'm going to take this actually and flip it over, and oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to flip it over and put this anywhere. I'm going to put that there on his boat. Yet another not great turn for me. Okay. All right, so now we're down to these dice. I'm going to do, a D3 here. So let's see what he does. 1, 2 would be this here. So now we get to show you the movement rules. So he's going to get 1 and 1. Okay. The movement priorities are like this. Find the area, whether it's a loading zone or a lock or a lake, where he has the highest total fees, whether the dice can move or not. Highest total fees. Okay, so I think that's pretty obviously here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, $16 versus 8 here versus $1 over there. So this zone is going to be his priority to move, even though this one can't move. Okay, so he's going to move. All right, and then so then which of these is he going to move? It looks like the next priority would be the largest number of ships. He could load, he could do 1, 2, and this. Okay, now he will naturally group a military boat with his dice, if it's to his advantage, and he would get paid $2 for that. But the first priority for breaking ties here is largest number of ships, so I'm assuming that would be the legal move. It wouldn't be a terrible move for him to do that as well because he'd get paid $2. But I think that's also a solid move. So let's have him load all of those in there for his one water move. Now let's count up again. We've got 3, 6, 9, 4 here, 8 here. So almost this one, but still it's this one. So he's going to go ahead and use his lock move to move that forward. So that's how movement works. All right, my turn. I'm clearly going to be a moving. So I think I'll just take the best one and get myself 3 and 3. Okay. So, and I want to move this China boat at some point. So I'm going to move in here for a water. And then for another water, I'm going to push him through. And I get paid $1. And then I'm going to move a lock move, right? Then I'm going to move a water move to come join him in here, okay? And then I'm going to move all of this for a lock move. And then I'm going to move all of this for a water move. So that drains all of my movement actions. All right, his fourth action, 1 to 3, 4 to 6. 4 to 6, he's going to take the better one. So he's going to get 2 and 2. And let's do this. So 3 dice there times $1 is $3. This is 4. This is 4. And we've got 2 here. So you know what? Neither one of these can move, so I don't think we even have to consider those. Okay, so those out of the way. We've got $3 here, $2 here, so it's going to be this. So he's going to move this for a water move. And now he's looking at $3 to 2, so yep, he's going to move this one again for a lock. And then this is now $6, so that's still his priority, and he's going to come in here for a water. Now, he has a lock move. What's he going to use it on? He can't use it on his boats because he needs a water and he's out of water moves. So then the next priority would be to move a military boat that he could get paid on. And just to be clear, even if he'd already moved a military boat this turn, he would then try to move another one of the military boats that would benefit him, even though it wouldn't, per the rules, benefit him, twice in the same turn. So he's going to go ahead and move the China boat for his last one, and he's going to get paid $1 into the cup. All right, so now this is a good time to talk about one of my favorite optional rules, which is if I take this 2 and that executive action die is available, instead of rolling to see which die he takes, he's going to automatically take it. And then from there, the basic rules are when he does take an executive action, you roll. And a 1 to 3, he'll take the regular action, and a 4 to 6, he'll take an executive action. Then you roll again within these two. 1 to 3, buy a stock. 4 to 6, increase him. I like him to take the executive action and then roll for it because I like him chasing me up that stock chart. So let me go ahead. Well, no, I'm not. So I'm not going to take this because then he would go ahead and take that. So I'm going to take the 1, which is going to give me 2 and 1. And, well, 2 waters. That's going to be a water. And I can leave him behind. I don't need you anymore, buddy. And that's a water. And so I did 2 waters, and I get a lock move. Well, I guess it might as well be this one, right? All right, that's my turn. So now he's going to roll 6 would be this side, so he's going to take this one for 3 and 2. 3 and 2, 3 and 2. All right. His movement priority is still clearly from this area. So, he can't take everything. So I hope I'm doing this right. I think his next priority is pips, which is, so obviously the 5 is going to go. All right. And then of these, he's got 2 dice here to 1. So I think, sorry. Okay, so it's number of pips. So we're tied here. I'm going to assume that number of dice breaks that tie. So he's going to move in here for a water move. All right, so now this is his priority. This is awesome. He's going to end up pushing me out, isn't he? So he's going to move this forward. Oh, yeah, that happens in this game. What was that game? That was a 5. All right, that's going to go here. Okay, that's over there. That's his first lock move. He's still, this is still his priority to move, so he's going to go ahead and push me out for his last lock move. Haha, thanks, buddy. And then with his last water, no, he still has 2 water moves. He's going to move this for a water move, and he's got 1 more water move that he has to do. Well, remember the rule where his next priority would be to move a military boat. Whether or not he could get paid, well, he could get paid, and he will. So he's going to go ahead and move the west military boat for his last water move and get 1 into the cup. All right, meanwhile, I'm getting paid. I get $6 to my company. All right, he gets $5 to his cup. All right, I'm going to have a ton of dice. Oh my God. And then I'm going to get a captain and a stevedore because those are awesome. So yeah, I'm going to get, you know, the best 2, which is awesome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take that executive action die because I don't want him to take it. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to spend $6 to get 1 of my shares of stock and increase my stock. Now, I should mention too that during the game you cannot buy his stock and he cannot buy yours. So your goal is to get all 5 shares of your stock purchased if you want to win. Okay, so I effectively have blocked him. You know, sometimes depending on the way the dice come out, you know, he will get executive actions. But I do like that rule where if it's there, he takes it. Because then it'll force me to sometimes, you know, take a move that I don't want to move just to protect the executive action. So in this case, he's going to get 3 waters and 1 lock. And now, if he can do stuff down here. But if for any reason he can't, he will just pass, which I'm okay with because, you know, he's not paying cargo fees at the end of the round. So it's kind of like a, you know, a balancer. So anyway, let's go through our process here. $3, $3, number of boats, 2 boats, and number of pips. This whole thing obviously breaks this tie, so he's going to move himself out there for his only lock move, and then with 3 water moves that he must use, he, I think, is just going to move some military boats. I mean, that's 1 water, that's 2 waters, and I don't think I'm missing anything. That's it. He's going to waste the last movement. He can't do anything with it. All right. So he's going to get both of these chits. I'm just going to put these in the cup. We know that that's $9 for him at the game end. He's going to get some dice back. He's going to get another $5 to his cup. And, okay, I didn't mention this either. When he gets one of his boats out, he will automatically take, you know, the money bonus. He won't take the card. He'll take the money. So he's going to get another 2. So he got 5 for the cargo and 2 for getting his boat out. So as you can see in his cup over here, he is starting to accumulate some things, okay? All right, and my last action, executive action, I don't have enough money, but I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bump myself up 2 with this executive action because it's pretty important to stay ahead of him on that track, as I've found. Okay, great. So that ends the first round. Now let me show you the end-around procedures, because there's some interesting things here. Cargo fees. I owe all of $6. Okay. He doesn't owe anything. Shares. He did not purchase a share, so he does not get any payout. I purchased one, so I have two. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 to me. Excellent. Excuse me. Managing director. Well, I'm going to win that pretty easily. That's nice. Okay. And now we do rail table. So what's important to note here is when he chooses optional rule, base rule is that you just roll and he'll take one randomly. Optional rule that I like a lot better is that he would choose intelligently. So the reason I wanted to get up here on this rail table to beat him is if he were to choose first, he's got, whoops, 2 west flags, so he would naturally take a 3rd west flag. So I'm clearly going to be forced to take a west flag, and I actually, now that I got, oh, am I doing this out of order, gang? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm doing this out of order. First you do the rail table, then you do the payouts, so I don't have this $10 yet, my apologies. Okay, so this happens before I get paid, so I'm going to take the west flag, and I'm going to have to defer that action because I don't have the money. Now for him, of the 3 that are left, none of them will give him a set, so let's just roll. So from left to right, a D3. A 1, so he will take the east flag. So he just needs a Europe flag, and that'll be a set, and he'll purchase stock. Okay, that will end the first round of the game. I can knock a game out in like, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes, something like that. And I quite enjoy it. It helps me anticipate the flow in a 2-player game like we have here, even though it's a pseudo, you get a lot more actions than you do in a 3 or 4-player game, so you have a lot more time to load things and take care of business that you need to take care of. One of the things I like about the game is that each player count does feel different in terms of how much time you have to do stuff and how many opportunities sit there versus get snaked out from under you from another player. So I find it quite enjoyable. I'm going to stop here. This is a good place to stop. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue through with the rest of it, but at least this will give you an idea of how the variant plays. Like I said, there are optional rules to make it to give it some more teeth that I enjoy. But I've had a couple of real squeakers where I beat them by $4 twice. So it's been enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is my first one. I'm sure it's a bit rough, but I will get better at it, and I'm getting some better equipment. That's in the works. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and what's more is I hope you enjoy the variant because I find it's enjoyable and helpful in training you for the game. Alright, I'll see you around. Cheers.